Good afternoon and welcome to the Soul Shop. I am your host, Phyllis King. And today we have a fascinating guest with a Sujato Bhikkhu, who, from all I can gather as I scour the internet, is somewhat of a non-traditional Buddhist monk. I don't know. He will confirm or deny. But I think one of the things that has really touched me so deeply about your presence is that you seem to really be focused on disenfranchised people, people in recovery. And I looked at, you have a dharmaoutreach.com project, which seems like it's related to Tiffany Recovery Center. And, you know, I have a lot of clients who have been through recovery, and it's such a fascinating population, such a challenging road, but so much can be learned from that path. And clearly you've been on that path in some form, but now you're spreading light in the world, you're uplifting people. And I know when I go to research somebody, there's usually a trail. I couldn't find your trail, and that might be a good thing, but sometimes that tells me the person is just out there doing the work of uplifting and, you know, helping folks. And that's my gut level about you. You're just doing it. So anyhow, thank you for being here. How close am I?
You're pretty close. Right, you'll have to stop me if you want me to stop talking, because I sometimes have a habit of not stopping.
All right.
So just say, please take a breath. So I don't really know where you'd like to start from.
Well, can you tell me a little bit of your background? I mean, I know that you kind of on the streets of a sort. You had your own recovery issues, and now that's a population you serve. Pretty, you know, seems like a lot.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so perhaps a bit of a. Perhaps folks might be interested in how I actually got to be here. So let's start with that. So I lived in Thailand for 11 straight years, from let's think 2008 until 2019. I'm originally from East London in the UK. Mm-hmm. I went to Thailand and on some kind of Buddhist or spiritual pilgrimage. I went there. I went there because I had a rather huge drug problem, specifically crack cocaine. Wow. So I was lucky enough to be in a situation where I could afford to go there. Okay. And it worked. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of okay, but I was in a very fortunate situation. A lot of people would never think to do that, but also a lot of people wouldn't have the resources to do it. So
why did you think to do that? I mean, you're having a substance abuse issue in like Thailand?
Right. Okay. Well, because I'd spoken to some people that had been there, and B, Thailand had the death penalty.
Oh, you're muted.
So that's the way it goes with me having to use just my phone for everything.
We can work with it. So Thailand had the best what?
Thailand had the death penalty.
Oh.
Thailand had the death penalty for Class A drugs.
Oh my God.
So that was a pretty good deterrent.
Oh.
I think.
Well, apparently you're still with us. Oh my goodness gracious. That's remarkable. All right, that's some incentive. I guess that's like people who have alcohol issues and they give them that pill called antabuse. So if they take the antabuse and they drink, they get violently ill.
Yeah, for me, I know it seems to be extreme. Anyway, so that worked out. And I had no intent. Sorry.
Did you go straight to some monastery from that? Oh, okay.
No. No, it wasn't one step. Okay. It wasn't one step. So I ended up staying in Thailand. It was, you know, it worked. I ended up staying. and I visited. The Buddhist thing was ongoing. This has been about especially the meditation aspect has been something that, well, now it's been 30 plus years, so it wasn't new. It's not new. And it was never, and like I say, it was never my mission to I'm very atypical. Most Western Theravada monastics usually go seeking out ordination. It was the furthest thing from my mind. I wanted to stay alive and out of jail was my biggest that was my biggest ambitions.
Well, you succeeded, so that's a good goal.
So I used to visit temples, and I visited one in particular, a small forest temple, and I just enjoyed visiting. So cut some of the less interesting stuff out. I was following a broadly, what should we say, I think probably easiest to describe it as a Thai shamanic path. So predating Buddhism, a bit of Buddhism in there, plant medicines, etc., etc. So, and I was doing this with I was studying with this guy that I'd found, who was kind of considered just to be the old crazy guy in the village. And I was quite happy doing that. It was, it wasn't stressful. It was, I found it very interesting. It was something I've been interested in for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And so cut the story down a little bit more. My friend there, who said he was 80, but I'm pretty sure he was older than that, actually. He got really sick, and his family took him back. His family took him away from the village where I was, which was in the northeast, in the middle of nowhere. And they took him back. They took him to Bangkok with them because it was easier for them to look after him. So that left me there on my own. And some Thai friends visited this forest temple that I used to visit, and the abbot there, the Ajahn there, asked how I was doing because he hadn't seen me, and they said, "Oh, well, he's on his own there now." And he said, "Would you like to come?" Asked me if he'd like to come and stay here, and that's how I ended up staying there, still with no intention of ordaining.
And so, fast forward, how are you a teacher? Are you a messenger? Are you a practitioner? What are you? What? Because people are really fascinated with what you have to say, as am I. And
I just hang out with folks. I just hang out with folks.
You just be with them.
Yeah, I just hang out with folks. Yeah, people will call me a teacher. People will ask if they can be a student. People will say, I've never called myself a teacher. I learn more from anyone that's sitting in front of me than I ever teach them. So it doesn't make sense to me to call myself a teacher. So I literally hang out with folks. That's what I do.
I love it. Okay. So what are these people doing that are following you around? They're just hanging out with you? You're a fun guy? I mean,
well, they're not
obviously you're a fun person.
They're not necessarily following me around. But yeah, I mean, it's the way I've been through the traditional route. Okay, I've sat in the silly oversized chair, the enormous wicker chair, which looks even sillier for me because both my legs are smashed to pieces and my left knee doesn't bend. So when I sit in the big monastic sermon chair in Thailand, I can't cross my legs. So one leg is just sticking out like this.
I love it.
and it's really bad form in Thailand to point the soles of your feet at anyone.
Oh no.
So I have to fashion some kind of covering. I actually sewed a sleeve for my leg.
Well, look at, I know we Westerners, of course, and I'm guilty of it as well. We always like things in a box. We want things to, we want to have it in our hands and say, it's this or it's that. And I realize I'm trying to do that too, but I'm really just curious.
I know.
And then here you are, you have the Dharma Outreach Project. What's that about? And, you know, what do you do at your events? And just tell me a little bit more about how that goes.
Right, this is, it's very new. It's very new.
Okay.
And it comes, it's only since I've been in Massachusetts that we've actually been working on the ground.
Oh, okay.
This is not something I was, so it's basically a collaboration with myself and a long-term friend.
I think I've seen him on the website.
Yes, Marshall. Yeah, well, Marshall is the driving force behind Try Recovery, and so the Dharma Outreach Project is a section of the Try Recovery as a 501c.
Mm-hmm. So all the people you hang out with, not all, it just seems like there's a focus on people in recovery, disenfranchised folks. Is that true?
Well, kind of. I don't limit who I hang out with.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Not that I'm not disenfranchised in my own right, but.
And I've this is an approach I've taken since after the first 4 years in Thailand. It's an approach I took in Thailand as well. So in the case of this project, it's really aimed at what I'm going to call disadvantaged communities. So very much aimed at people in recovery, or people wanting to be in recovery, or just people struggling with substance use disorder. Mm-hmm. Also with the houseless communities, and with, although I've not managed to physically get approved for any prison visiting at the minute, but also with, that's certainly the intention, and for ex-incarcerated as well. So that's really the focus of the project, and really it's to give folks access to which I'm going to call the tools, because I'm not religious. That might sound very strange to you, but I'm not religious. Buddhism, the whole Buddhist aspect is about the practicality for me. I'm not about ritual and ceremony, which I'm always criticized for. I don't really care what I look like and what I don't look like, and which I'm also criticized for. I go along with whatever makes me more approachable to the community that I'm in at the time. So that's where I'm atypical. Well, I'm atypical all the way. You mentioned about boxes. I have the greatest respect for you, but you will never fit me in a box, and neither will anyone else.
I'm kidding that. But would you be so kind as to give me a few pieces of or a couple of the tools, share what some of those tools, insights, or pieces are. And by the way, those of you in the chat room, you're welcome to chat Sujato a question, and I'm sure he'll answer it.
Now, I will answer it if you tell me what it is, because I don't know how to do anything with you. Saw the whole palaver I had trying to lose the phone. I don't know how to do anything with this other than look at people and talk to them.
It's all right. I'll give you the questions as they come in.
Okay.